I'm William Kumwembe with Business Time. This is a magazine program where we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country. And coming up in the program today, we speak with the World Bank Vice President on the Bretton Woods institution's drive to supporting Malawi's ailing economy. We have these and other stories. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome. This is Business Time, and in our main story in the program today, over the past 2 days, World Bank Vice President for Eastern and Southern Africa, Diame Diop, was in the country to discuss the state of the country's economy and how the bank could help to revamp the ailing Malawi economy. Among others, Diop met with President Peter Mutharika, Finance Minister Joseph Manambeka, and other top government officials. From Lilongwe, journalist Taonga Sabola spoke with Diop to find out whether the bank will resume direct budget support to Malawi and on the possibility of the Bretton Woods institution's bend of rules in favor of the new administration.
Malawi has been facing an exceptionally difficult economic situation, as you know. Over the last 4 years, the revenue per capita of the population has been declining because GDP growth has been lagging behind population growth. Inflation has remained quite high, above 20% since 2022, and now in the mid to high 20s. Foreign exchange shortages very, very severe, really hitting very, very hard the private sector and everyone who has some essential equipment and input to import to power the economy. And also a high level of debt. The debt level of Malawi has reached a very, very high level and has become unsustainable. And therefore, the government focus on fiscal consolidation, but also a broader reform agenda to address all these issues is really, really critical to really stabilize the economy, restore macroeconomic stability, fiscal stability, and to really focus on the longer term development trajectory of the country. The problem is that the current situation with high inflation, shortage of FX and everything I mentioned is hitting the poor and the poorest and the most vulnerable in the population much, much more than the rich. So therefore, if you really want to reduce poverty, it is absolutely critical to address that. But at the same time, Malawi is a country full of opportunity in the mining sector, in agriculture, but also in energy. And the World Bank has been supporting these sectors. And that gives us the hope that if you do the reforms and then you continue pushing investment in these sectors, Malawi will be able to recover. But it requires really a very strong commitment to undertaking these necessary reforms. Difficult but necessary reforms.
On Sunday, we saw you engaging Malawi President Professor Peter Mutharika. What are some of the key issues that you and Professor Mutharika discussed?
Yeah, I was first of all, I was very privileged to meet with the president, and I thank him for taking the time to meet with me and my colleagues. What I discussed with the president is the current situation that I just described. I think he's fully aware of this. He mentioned a very strong commitment to reforms. He mentioned some of the measures that have been already taken, such as the expenditure control as part of a circular that was issued recently. So we are waiting for the full implementation of the reform program. I think that will be important because it will shape our support and our response going forward. But I really met with a leader that is aware of the situation and that is really keen in addressing the situation, doing those macro fiscal reforms that are important, but also addressing governance concerns, and finally pushing all the real sectors for which Malawi has a very strong potential, such as the energy sector, but also the agriculture sector and the mining sector.
From the bank's point of view, are you prescribing any reforms that Malawi maybe can take from now onwards so that it recovers the economy?
Well, we're not prescribing or pushing for anything that Malawian economists and Malawian in general don't know. In Malawi, everybody knows what needs to be done. We are just encouraging and supporting an actual implementation of the reforms. I think there's a wider spread, and these are also, some of the issues are technical, and we know the technical solutions. Other issues require political will, and there is a political economy there. And I think what the position of the bank is that if you see a government that is really taking difficult measures and actions to really address macro fiscal challenges, but also to implement measures that are really improving the well-being of the population, we come in and support. So that's really our position. It's not about prescribing or not. I think it's really about accompanying any government that is really geared toward improving the livelihood of their population.
Now, the Reserve Bank of Malawi has said it will engage in a wider consultation with stakeholders as part of the ongoing process to restructure domestic debt. The move is aimed at ensuring economic and financial stability. Speaking during the Monetary Policy Committee Technical Forum held in Blantyre on Monday, RBM Director of Financial Markets Chakudza Linje said the process is still in its initial phase. Linje said the process will involve extensive engagement between the government, financial institutions, and investors in government securities to reach a mutually beneficial arrangement. Benedita Chuandamia has more in this report.
Speaking during the Monetary Policy Committee Technical Forum held in Blantyre, Reserve Bank of Malawi Director of Financial Markets Chakudza Linje said the process is still in its initial phase and will involve extensive engagement between the government and investors in government securities to reach a mutually beneficial arrangement. Linje added that initial consultations already took place at policy level, and the central bank is currently working on the size of the debt subject to negotiation and restructuring.
On debt restructuring, we are still in the initial stages. The process is going to involve consultations, and there are going to be extensive consultations between government and those that have supported government in investing in the government paper. The aim is to ensure that we maintain financial stability as well as allow government some space, some fiscal space to consolidate. So it's going to take some consultation between government and the investors. It's going to be structured in such a way that the investors don't make any losses. We are looking at structuring it at an NPV neutral position where they don't make any losses, but they allow government some space to consolidate. So it's going to be consultative. It's not going to be something that's going to be done from one aspect only as government, but the investors themselves are also going to be involved in the process. At the moment, we are still looking at the numbers. We haven't consolidated the figures, but that is also going to be done in consultation with the investors. The first assurance I can give is that they are going to be consulted. The second assurance I can give, and this is possibly the most important one, is that as government and as a central bank, we are very much aware that financial stability is key to economic development. So whatever it is that is going to be done and agreed will ensure that financial stability is maintained. And in maintaining financial stability, it means that we have to ensure that these financial institutions don't incur significant losses that will undermine the financial status of the country. So they have to be assured that this is not going to be something that will be done piecemeal. They have to be assured that they are going to be consulted and involved in the whole process. And they have to be assured that at the back of our minds as government and the central bank, we still want to maintain financial stability in our system, and they are the key to maintaining financial stability in the system.
Meanwhile, Economics Association of Malawi ECAMA Executive Director Esime Kanyumbu cautioned that while debt restructuring is a welcome move, it should only serve as a short-term measure.
Debt restructuring would be a good option, but it should be treated as a temporary measure, because we can restructure debt, the debt that is maturing in the near future, pushing further, maybe it matures later, yeah. But that can be done as a short-term measure. But long-term wise, we should aim at reducing debt, and one way of doing that is widening of tax base, making sure that the government is collecting enough resources, enough revenue from tax and also some non-tax sources.
In an interview, Malawi Confederation of Chambers of Commerce and Industry MCCCI economic analyst Chansem Kandawire said businesses are facing rising borrowing costs due to the tightened monetary policy stance. While supporting the policy stance, Mkandawire said there should be an alignment with the fiscal policy to yield intended results.
We see that monetary policy as well as fiscal policy, they have to be aligned, because when we look at as the businesses, we are experiencing a tight monetary policy, which means that the cost for borrowing is high, but at the same time we see the money supply increasing. So we feel like there is a need for a coordination between the fiscal policy and monetary policy, so that the policy rate can achieve the intended purpose or goal. One of the proposals which we have made, we see that inflation mainly is induced by supply constraints in terms of food. So we are proposing that as a country, we have to promote winter cropping to make sure that when we are affected by the rain, by weathers, we should be able to compensate that with winter cropping. Moving forward to January, next meeting, we are optimistic to what the government has started to do in terms of the fiscal side of it, which we feel like if that can also be aligned with monetary policy, we'll be able to achieve something.
Latest figures from the Ministry of Finance show that Malawi's public debt currently stands at 21.6 trillion kwacha, pushing the debt to GDP ratio to over 88%, a situation that has left the government with limited fiscal space to operate.
Remember, this is Business Time, a magazine program in which we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is Business Time and my name is William Kumwembe, and moving on with the program. 6 small and medium enterprises have graduated from the Mzinga incubation program, positioning themselves for potential listing on the Malawi Stock Exchange. The program is designed to prepare SMEs for listing on the Enterprise Development and Growth Exchange, creating a platform for SMEs to raise capital and participate in the capital market for their growth and expansion. Benedetta Chiwandamia has more.
These are 6 small and medium enterprises who for the past 6 months have been trained and capacitated to take part in the capital market by listing on the Malawi Stock Exchange through the Enterprise Development and Growth Exchange, EGEX. It is a deliberate move aimed at trying to address access to capital challenges that SMEs continue facing, as well as increase participation of local companies at the Malawi Stock Exchange. Speaking during the graduation ceremony for the first cohort, Reserve Bank of Malawi Deputy Governor Kisu Smwaka said access to capital remains a major challenge for many businesses, calling for strengthened collaboration to address the gap. Simwaka said the capital market offers solutions to help enterprises grow and contribute to national economic development. He also challenged the private sector to take advantage of the opportunities available in the capital market to expand access to credit and grow their businesses.
Well, what was noted is that in recent years on the Malawi Stock Exchange, we have very few companies that have listed on the stock exchange. For some years, we have only have 16 companies that are still listed there. We've not seen any growth in the numbers. So what this program was meant to do was to prepare the participating institutions to be ready.
Malawi Stock Exchange Chief Executive Officer John Kamanga said the initiative has helped SMEs build capacity and become investment ready by developing bankable projects that can attract long-term financing through the capital market. MSC Board Chairperson James Kamachale Komba said the exchange is implementing several initiatives to expand the capital market, with the Nzinga incubation program being one of the flagship efforts. He therefore expressed confidence in the readiness of the graduating SMEs to eventually list on the market.
The Malawi Stock Exchange is a part of the Reserve Bank of Malawi. It operates under very strict regulations and guide. So during the incubation period, the partners have been groomed onto how they can run the businesses, more especially the governance structures. So they have the skills and knowledge on how they are going to run as a business.
The Nzinga incubation program was launched in 2023 with financial support from the World Bank under the Financial Inclusion and Entrepreneurship Scaling FINES project. FINES project manager Raf Tseka called for greater collaboration among government, the private sector and development partners to build on the success of Nzinga and other FINES initiatives.
Yeah, the initial objective of the whole FINES project was to increase access to finance, and secondly, to assist the SMEs to access cheaper or patient capital. In this regard, therefore, one of the issues we actually noticed was the lack of capital for the SMEs. And so we actually said for us to meet or to assist the SMEs who are actually coming out, they need more capital. And for them to need more capital, they need to list on the stock exchange. How do we do that? That's where we took this Nzinga incubation project, that let's incubate these incubators, that after successfully completing the program, they will now start listing on the stock exchange, and we will see growth among the SMEs.
One of the graduating SMEs, Agro Inputs Supplier, through its Director and Chief Executive Officer, Frederick John Kawaliwale, said the program has created potential and opportunity for the enterprise to participate and raise capital through the capital market.
Yeah, we ended up in the Nzinga program because we saw that we have proven technologies that will make a big impact in Malawi in terms of our quality of product and productivity. As you know, at the moment we suffer low productivity, we suffer poor quality, we can't export because of poor quality, or when we sell locally, you find people are preferring an imported product rather than a local product because of quality issues. Now, having seen that we have developed all the solutions to our problems, we felt we need to scale so that people get to know. So what we are looking for in the Nzinga program is a go-to-market strategy. We want to get to the market, show people the technologies, get them to understand and utilize, increase the reach of that. So that's why we came into the Nzinga program, so that we can get the patient capital that's required for that strategy to be implemented.
The 6 graduating enterprises from the first cohort of Nzinga incubation program are Nagoa Finance Limited, Combined Cargo Limited, Agro Input Suppliers Limited, Unified Technologies Limited, Zweto Enterprise Limited, and WealthNet Finance Limited.
Now, in other business news, one of the country's telecommunications companies, Telecom Networks Malawi TNM, on Thursday commemorated 30 years of existence, celebrating its legacy as a pioneer in Malawi's digital transformation. TNM Chief Executive Officer described the company's journey as one of the relentless innovation, highlighting its role in connecting millions of Malawians through voice, internet, and mobile money services.
The highlight of TNM's 30-year existence is that we brought all of this innovation to make people's digital life better. We brought the internet to millions. We brought, of course, just phone calls to millions. And mobile money, being able to send money around anywhere in Malawi, even internationally, to millions. So we TNM have pioneered these things for the past 30 years. We're the first to do everything, and even today we're pioneering that technology. So we're bringing the very best of technology around the world here in Malawi, and to make everybody's life better, essentially. Yeah. Well, our plans are to continue to invest in the networks, to bring the technology closer to the people. I mean, we're concentrated primarily in cities, some of the bigger villages and so on. We cover about 85% of the people. We need to cover the remainder of the 15%. So we're looking at technologies that are more cost effective, like powered by solar, with simpler communications, but still provide digital technologies to everyone. That's what we're going to do. But the technology is also moving so fast. Now you've heard about artificial intelligence. Even all kinds of financial services, the way we operate our networks, customer service, even playing games or listening to music, everything now is being driven by AI. So our plans are as well to develop AI here in Malawi for all kinds of services like this. So we're setting up innovation hubs. Even next year we will be putting some AI labs for people to learn how to do AI and develop Malawian services based on AI, based on what's needed here.
And Minister of Information Shadrack Namalomba hailed TNM's contribution to the national development, describing the company as a catalyst for inclusive and progress.
30 years of success, of growth, is not a joke. And during those 30 years, Malawi has benefited quite a lot. The 30 years tell us that TNM was the first company to come here. It introduced the first mobile phone. In the 30 years, the first SMS message was on TNM platform. Even the 3G network, they were the first. Even the 4G network, they were the first. So they have grown, and we have grown together with TNM. The message that the government of His Excellency Professor Peter Mutharika has for TNM management, and also for the others, for other operators in the telecommunication industry, is that let us work together. Let us partner together. The vision of the government is to ensure that this country is digitally connected, that we have a digital economy, which means we must get to each and every Malawian, every corner of this country. In the remotest places, we must have connectivity. We must have internet. We must have the mobile telecommunication siting. We must also provide even the Pamba, the mobile money platforms to the people. So it is very, very important, as they are looking for the next 3 decades, for the next 30 years, that we work together. We will provide a conducive environment for them to thrive, for them to expand their business, but also we want to invite them to invest more.
Well, with that story, we've also come to the end of today's edition of the program Business Time. It is a magazine program in which we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country. My name is William Kumwembe. Thank you for watching, but always remember, if it doesn't make money, then it doesn't make sense. Stay safe and goodbye for now.